Hi, I'm Jack Honey. It's January 2025, and I have a New Year's resolution. See, I've been trying to teach my kids and myself, honestly, that no matter what you're doing, it doesn't always have to be perfect. Sometimes it just has to be. So in the spirit of that, my New Year's resolution for 2025 is to finish more of the projects that I start. You guys don't know it, but I start a lot of things that don't ever see the light of day, and I want to get some of those things done. And I thought a good place to start might be to revisit this here chalkboard.
Call me Jack, honey.
Hey, I'm back. So I moved some stuff around to try to reduce a glare issue I was having, and now I look like a ghost. So I don't know why that happened, but bear with me. Anyway, if you don't know what this chalkboard is, it was over a year ago, which you can probably tell from the increase in hair and facial hair. I started this thing, Battle of the Battle Royales, where I was comparing a bunch of Battle Royales. If you don't know, then at least check out the intro to that and you'll be caught up. So I want to finish it now. I'm not, in the spirit of not caring as much about being perfect, I'm just gonna talk through it rather than continue on with it the way that I was planning to, because I want it to be finished. It's like this thing that's always in the back of my mind, like, hey, you never finished the Battle Royales. So where I left off was Fortnite had beat Cursed in the first round, and then PUBG beat H1Z1. Then I moved on and I did Call of Duty vs Apex, and that's where I started getting pretty overwhelmed. For one, it was difficult to pick a winner between the... Hold on, I don't know what that alarm is. Oh, never mind. For one, it was difficult to pick a winner between the two. They both had a lot going for them, but they're very different, but both good quality battle royales. So there wasn't a clear winner in that regard, and then I moved on, and I was like, oh, I'll take care of the conclusion for that later. Never did. But I moved on to Super Animal Royale versus Darwin Project, and that was just as difficult for me. Just trying to pick like highlights like I was doing for like the recap before the reveal of the winner and all that. It was just too difficult at that point. I think I was burnt out. I cared about it too much, which is kind of why I'm trying to like do it now without the perfectionism. Sorry for the nose scratch. I don't know if that muffled my voice at all. I'm also kind of trying to do this all in one take, so I don't have a lot of time for one, and also I just need it to get done, right? But let's get back to it. Anyway, like I was saying, Call of Duty versus Apex. We'll get there. We'll pick it up right where I left off. So I didn't pick a winner. The biggest reason I think that it was hard was because, well, for one, I was terrible at both of them, and Call of Duty has a lot of things going on, and I didn't feel like I really scratched the surface of what what it had to offer, all of what it had to offer. So there was that, and then with Apex, it was the fact that it's the only game on this whole tournament they didn't have a solo mode. So that those two things kind of made it really hard for me to figure out of what I was doing. Then I moved on to Super Animal Royale and Darwin Project, and I'm going to say Darwin Project won that, but I want to come back to that later because I didn't feel like either of them outperformed either of these, so it just didn't feel right for one of these to move on when one of these wasn't. So what I wanted to do, honestly, was say Call of Duty, let's say, wins this round. So we'll put COD here and get out of here. And then Apex wins this round. Whatever. And and it's my show and it's my tournament and I can do that if I want to, right? I make the rules. That's not to say that these were terrible by any means. In fact, I liked these better than this one here, and I'll get to all of that later too. But that way, in the final semifinal, it would have been Fortnite, Call of Duty, PUBG, and Apex, just like everybody would have suspected from the beginning anyway. Because those four, I think, make up kind of the, let's say, Mount Rushmore of battle royales. In my opinion, if you just want, like, that's the first conclusion I've drawn from this tournament, is it's just no surprise to anybody. Those four are kind of the elite. And then the other ones that I was playing, the other four that I played were lesser known. I mean, I think they're lesser known. I hadn't heard of them before I put together the tournament, so kind of no surprise to anybody lower tier, right? And then that's just more of a there's more to anticipate. There's I think more people would care about the results of these matchups. Sorry, like I said, all one take. And if you want my my analysis on these, just based off of what I have played, again, like I said, it's unfortunate. I'm not a Call of Duty kid, and I feel like if you are, then you probably would be able to more quickly jump into Warzone than I was, and you'd have a better grasp of it, and it might be more fun for you. But for me, the kind of inaccessibility of the game loses its points against Fortnite, which I also picked up for the first time when I played it, and I just had a lot more fun with, because I was able to grasp the... I mean, I didn't play in build mode, so that's the other thing. And let's talk about that, though. Other play modes, like, I don't know, I feel like all of the... Well, these two games had a lot more to offer than what I saw. And it really just came down to accessibility for me, so I gave the win to Fortnite. And then Fortnite moves into the finals. Who's it up against, PUBG or Apex? Now, we're in this unfortunate circumstance here where Apex doesn't have the solo mode, like I said. I think Apex is really cool. It's really cool, and it's probably great if you have two friends to play with that, you know, you guys are a good team and you know, you've got it all figured out. That's probably a lot of fun. That's probably, if we were doing to play with two of your buddies, Apex probably wins the whole thing. But all the other games had, I don't know if all the other games had, I can't remember at this point, but at least many of the other games had like team modes. You could play with your friends in Fortnite or in COD. I'm almost certain. Apex doesn't have solo mode, or at least it didn't when I played. Things could have changed now. It's been over a year. But for that reason, Apex would have lost in this round. So it didn't really matter that I brought it up here anyway. But then it comes down to Fortnite and PUBG, and I don't really have the greatest reasons for it. I think Fortnite just felt more polished. It was just a little bit more like visually more gripping. And yeah, so in the end, I would give the whole thing to Fortnite. Fortnite won the battle of the battle royales. I think I may have let that slip in a live stream at some point anyway, that Fortnite was the winner in the end, and it was. So, big conclusion to the first question: who won the battle of the battle royales? Who won the battle of the battle royales? Fortnite. Celebration insert here maybe later. But that doesn't mean Fortnite's the greatest game on this list in all areas at all, right? So, I mean, if you wanted, like I said, if you wanted to play in a team of 3, Apex probably could have won the whole thing. Also, if you are somebody who plays these games and you're like, yeah, I've played these 4 games. I'm looking for something different. What can you give me that's good but not one of these 4, everybody knows them games? There's the other games have things to offer. I feel like Cursed, which was the first loser of this whole thing, had a lot of potential that I wasn't really getting, and I think I said at the time, I don't think that's failure on me as the player. I think Curse just isn't living up to its potential, and that's a shame, but it's still there. If you're looking for something very different from these other Battle Royales, you could look at Super Animal Royale and Darwin Project. I let neither one of those move on, but they were the most different from all of the rest of them. Darwin Project, different because it gives you less, and so you have to use the less that it gives you more. You have to use less more. If that's anyway, Super Animal Royale, very different in the look of it and in the gameplay. I didn't personally enjoy it. I think if you're looking for, if I could say like losers bracket top dog, I probably would give it to Darwin Project. Unfortunately, things that Darwin Project had working against it when I played were the servers were practically dead unless you went on at a certain time, and then when you got people in the server, they were a bunch of assholes. Just saying. If that's your thing, great. It's not my thing. That's kind of one of the reasons I don't play these games in the first place, is because I don't want to get harassed by assholes in my DMs. So, if you're not into that kind of thing, you might not want to play Darwin Project. And if you want to play a game that you know is still going to be around for a while, again, I don't even know if Darwin Project's still going, because like the servers were practically dead when I was playing. So, I was thinking, I'll make a couple lists here. Let me see, I'll just erase this for now. So the first one will just be how did everybody place in this tournament? So I'll say, because Cursed lost first, we've got Cursed down here at the bottom. Alright, Cursed came in last place. Did it deserve that? No, maybe not. The next loser would be H1Z1. Which I personally think we'll get to that later. That'll be a different list. Then we've got Super Animal Royale, Darwin Project. Sorry, that's Darwin Project. I don't know if you can hear me when my back is turned. And then we've got our winners. So COD, Apex, PUBG, and Fortnite at the top dog. So first to last, that's how they ranked in my tournament. I don't know where I put the eraser. Now, if you want my personal list of my favorite to least favorite, it's going to be a little bit different. Obviously, since Fortnite won it for me, it's still going to be Fortnite at the top. Next, I actually had the most fun with PUBG because I won more. So I'll put PUBG in there next. So far, it's looking pretty similar, right? And again, it gets difficult for me. What do I like better, Apex or COD? If you were to try to get, this is how I'm going to determine it. If you were to try to get me to play one of the games, what would you have the most success getting me to play? And that's what just determined for me that, again, we're going to be, the top 4 are going to stay the same. Because if you had two, or if you had yourself, let's say, and one other person to play with me, I might even put Apex at the top of the list if that were the exact specifications. But if you just have you and one other person, it's going to be pretty easy to talk me into trying to play Apex again. So I'm going to put that next. I don't remember the abbreviations I used in the first place because it's a chalkboard. It got smudged over time. It's been over a year. Then COD, see, here's the thing. I'm not a Call of Duty kid. And I feel like it's a very, at this point, anybody playing Call of Duty is a Call of Duty kid. Has been for a long time, and they know the game. And I'm never going to be able to stand up to that. And that's totally on me, I guess. My failure as a player. So I'm not saying it's COD's fault. I think, they're doing great things. Keep it up. Obviously, you have a huge fan base, but I'm not a part of it. So I'm never gonna. I'm just gonna die and die and die. And it's like I don't mind losing, but it gets old. So I think I might put Cursed next for me. And then I'll put Call of Duty. Warzone, that is. So what's that leave us with? We got that. We got Cursed. That leaves us with these 3 here. Now, I had fun with Darwin Project. I just don't want to deal with those people again. I didn't really have fun with Super Animal Royale. I felt like I was just wasting time the whole time. So I'm going to put Darwin Project next. So we got Darwin Project, Super Animal Royale, H1Z1 at the bottom. I did not like H1Z1 at all because it took way too long to get into a match. When you get into a match, there's only 6 people in there, so you could. It takes too long to find somebody. I, of course, died every time I did find somebody, so obviously that's going to negatively impact my view of the game, like I said at the time. But I just didn't have any fun with it at all. And if you were to try to get me to play, let's say it's the same thing. You got you and another friend, and you guys are like, hey, we want to play H1Z1. I'm like, okay, so it's us 3 and then 3 other dudes. And I don't know, it's too small of a group. There's not enough people. Same thing, Cursed only had 30. Everybody else has more people playing at a time than that, and it's more fun. I think there's an obvious correlation there. Maybe it's just me, but for my money, I don't care about H1Z1. I think of all the games on here, that was the least fun. Followed next by Super Animal Royale, which I was like really interested in like the environment I was in. I think there was like some kind of puzzle I was trying to solve or something. I had no interest in what you were actually supposed to be doing in the game though, and I think that falls on the game. If the game doesn't keep me interested in its main mechanic, then is it that good? Okay, so that's my personal list for ranking all the battle royales. Now, if you were like that guy who wanted something very different, you'd probably put Darwin Project up at the top, Super Animal Royale. This is just how different it is. And then these top 4 actually kind of end up at the bottom somewhere because they're not all that different from each other. I think Call of Duty would actually rank higher. Like, actually, well, Apex, again. Fortnite and PUBG would be at the bottom. And then maybe Apex above them. Call of Duty would end up somewhere actually higher, I think. Because I think it had a lot more to offer than what I experienced. I could be wrong. So I don't really want to make that list anyway. So this is the list. These are the winners. These are the ones I enjoyed most. Another great thing about Fortnite, which is irrelevant to anybody else, but this was always going to be more my thing than, that doesn't really pertain to you. It's very subjective. Is my mother and sister play Fortnite, or at least they have, and I at some point would love to play with them. So that's another reason it's gonna make it a lot easier for me to play Fortnite. So, like I said, totally irrelevant to anybody else. But those are my lists, and I'm going to finally call this this segment, this series, complete. And it's been over a year coming, so thanks for tuning in. Thanks to Friar Lawrence for suggesting I try these games. Sorry that it took me this long to finish this. That's it. See you later.
Call me Jack, honey.